Well, hello, folks. Welcome to stage 11. One more race to go. This is race 3. There were 2 races before, so one at midnight, one at 6 a.m. Looking at the group today, I think we've got about 74 registered riders in this race. So that's incredible to see. And if you can look, we've got quite a few from 3R. We've got a whole contingent from OTR. Pedalers are there as usual. So let's get going. So I did a recce of this yesterday with a couple of mates, and it's flat. There's a bit of rise, so that it's a bit bumpy, but it's a flat course. So let's set off. 3, 2, 1, go. Right then, so who have we got in front? DeLonghi and Robert Roy, but that's going to keep changing as we go along. Let's zoom in and have a look at the riders as they go along. And what we'll do is we'll stay at the front to start with, and then we'll move backwards. Just a big shout out for Amy Way, great to see you today, and for Christine, which I think you are the top lady within GC, so well done. So again at the front, Arhem's pushing the group along with Kevin's dad. Rowbottom's there at the front as well. So you're going to see this switching, but I expect what Derek would say is that they'll stay together for quite a lot of the ride. So if we pan round to the back, you'll see that this is quite a large group. There's a couple of the back of this group, but you expect this group to stay together for quite a while. Just stay in the draft and work if you need to at the front. So, as usual, Arhem out front with Vesper, Richard Wagstaff, Evans there as well. And we should see Evans' teammates along for the ride today. Rowbottom's just coming through. Oh, Jan Van's here as well. Excellent. Another teammate. So we don't expect at this stage for anybody to go off the front. Saying that, Rowbottom's just done so, but you won't get very far. So Vesper's just settling in there. So going back to the front. Oh, Gordon's there, excellent. So Gordon Jackson, OTR Blue, Warren from SDW's Southern District Wheelers, Penn, Fusel, Glass, Evan, Peter Austin, Wentz is there as well, from Moon Raiders. As I say, Jan Van is there from No Pins. Hopefully there to help out both Simon and Evan. Leon up front with pedalers. So again, no one's going away anytime soon. I'd say this is a relatively flat course. And as you can see from the map, everyone is staying relatively close together. So looking at the two races that went. So the one race that was at midnight last night, 6 riders finished it, but the top 3 were within the 1 minute 16:29 through to 38 seconds. And if you look at have I got the list up? Yes. And then at the 6 a.m. ride, they were a little slower. So 10 riders finished, and the top 3 were 1:17:43 through to 46. So again, they were quite close together, but they were around a second, just over a second back. And David Proctor, one of the OTR guys, was in that race. So we're looking at this group trying to beat a time of 1:16:29. And Nestor on the front. Okay, so we've got John Beams, Mard is on there as well, so we'd expect to see them at the front soon, but to be honest, this is just going to stay together. Rowbottom's just gone off the front, and Greenhaller, Arhem, Vesper, Nestor, Penn, Peter's up there now. Paul Newton's coming up in 8th, just in front of Leon. So they'll continue to swap, but Rowbottom is just pushing the front out. And again, if we look behind, it's a huge group, and we're looking at 30-40 riders. And this is one of the nice things of RGT. You can't do 50 kilometers an hour going round a 90 or 180 degree bend, as they just did then, and stay at 50 kilometers. So RGT does slow you down. The physics are very different to Zwift. I know in Zwift we can do 180 and stay at exactly the same speed. So this is much more realistic. So on this picture I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys from OTR. That's incredible. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from 3R. There's 4 pedalers in that group, just on the screen rather than the whole of that 30 or 40 riders. So DeLonghi's pushing the front with Kid, Solly, Fern, Barkley, Mad. Gordon's up there. Rich is up there as well. So you'll keep seeing this change. John Beams at the front. Really strong. He's second in GC. Simon's third. And because of the problems that Peter had on stage 9, stage 9, he's dropped back down from 3rd to 5th, but we expect him to come back tomorrow. So watch out for that. And we got some climbs tomorrow, so it'll be probably a little bit more interesting. So who's at the front? O'Malley, Robot DeLonghi, Peter, Vesper, Solly's up there as well with beams. Hall's up there, Hedgeguard. Really strong group this. And we're just dropping a few at the back. So can we go to them at all? Who are they? So this just tells me that we've got 60 riders in that front group. Peter's just coming through now. So there's Peter. Looks like Fern has either had a technical, but he's slowing down. Now, that's excellent. So we can see the front group in the distance there. You've got Nestor. He's going to wait for Peter, who's what, 29, 28. So if you go back to Peter, he's going to time trial Peter back onto that front group. So let's stay with this for the time being and see what happens. Thanks, Peter. Right, so there you go. Nestor and Peter are going to go together, and what you'll see is the watts going up. And it looks as though you've got Per Soderberg there as well. So Per's going to fall back and then pick up Nestor and Peter as well. So Nestor's put in cracking, what's there, 6.1 watts per kilo. Peter's 5.1. Per's just waiting at 1.8. You've got another... do you have another rider? Well, you've got a couple of riders have dropped off again. So you now got Per, Peter and Nestor. They're all going to work together to try and trial Peter back onto that group. And we just lost Orange, so Orange go backwards, it's 2.1. Andy Mackey is just gone back. And just coming back is Daniel as well. I think he's had a technical because Watts was 0. So I think he's just going to drop back into the second or third group, depending on how he's getting on. So they got 52 meters to make up that gap to Michuto, and a further 50 meters to get onto the back of Arhem and Samut. So let's see if they can do this. And then we'll go back to the front. So they're just passing Michuto. And so you got Nestor at the front with Per and Peter. Michuto is staying in, so that's really good. So that'll give a bit of draft for him. And they've got 65 meters to close the gap. And you got Bytham as well. I would expect Bytham to slow down a little bit, which he's doing. So Bytham, another OTR teammate for OTR Black. So Bytham's going to help bring Per, Peter and Nestor back in. But this is a really quick group, and the group know this is going on, so they're going to have to just keep pushing and hope that Peter doesn't get back in, because he'll be one of the juicy contenders. But let's see them all work together. So Nestor's dropping back a little bit, but I expect Nestor to come back in again. Come on, Peter. And you got Rich there as well. He's going to drop back a little bit. So he's at the back of the group at the moment, at this front group. Awesome, look at this. Absolutely incredible. They're going to do it. Come on, Peter. So whether Peter had a technical, we'll have a chat with Peter later on today. But you got Nesta's now what, 112 with Andy Mackey's 450 metres back. Peter's in now. Now Peter needs to get into the middle of that group and conserve his energy. Just draft. So he's now going to the middle. Or is he going to stay on? No, he's going to stay in the middle. Well done, guys. That was incredible to see. Super work. Well done. Great work, team. Great team work. Right, so back in the action. Who have we got out at front? So Peter Austin's at front with Wareham, Kidd, John Beams, Roger Hughes, Paul Newton, Canario. I've not seen him for quite a while. Vesper's up there as well, with the Wahoo Le Cole team kit. Andy Gray's there, Stevens, Barclay, so Kevin Barclay's in that group as well. And I've just seen Simon, so excellent. It's a really strong group, this one. And as I say, no one's getting away. And hopefully, if we look back again, we've got everyone back in. Just an OTR rider coming through now. But we've got everyone back in to that group. And as I say, there's about 50 to 60 riders in that group now. So it has come down. And that save from the guys in OTR for Peter, some of those have dropped back to the second group. So while it's completely flat, let's go and have a look at the second group. So this will tell me how many people are in the front. So we've got 55 in that front group. Second group, that's interesting. So Mitutu, who dropped back, joined the OTR guys, pushed up, has now been dropped again. And then you got Per and Nesta working together. So they're now currently, 208. So they did the incredible job for Peter. Let's go back to the other group, which is 630 behind them. So that's Fern, LeBlanc, Andy Mack, Orin, Gourlay, Nieborg. So they're a little small group. RS is with Adrian Bennett, Ivan van Beurs, and Sanderson. So 2 of the 3 R riders. And then Donaldson on his own in no man's land. And to be honest, it might be easier if he joins that group behind them. So here you got quite a big group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 riders. So Campbell, Ian, Dirty Dan's in there, Lavelle's in there, Solly's in there. So Solly's been dropped from that initial front group. Bailey's in there, Petrov, Zimmerman's in there, as is Keith, so Peter's teammate. And Newnham did a cracking job yesterday, so he's in that smaller group. And if we go behind them, you got Petrov, Predkin. So Petrov is on his own. You can see the front group, but he's not really catching at 2.1 watts per kilo. I would say he's going to wait up and join Predkin, who's also on his own, one of the 3R teammates. And you got Zimmerman 100 meters behind with Frey. And with Sean. Is Sean? Yeah, Sean's there. Another OTR teammate. And then Marin is going to try and catch up. There's only 9 meters, so they should be able to do it, but they're going to need to push a bit more watts. Are they going to do this? They've listened, or they're listening. So Marin's now doing 4 watts per kilo and closing that gap. Awesome. And they can see the rider up front, so it'd be useful to then go and catch him. Right, next group. You've got Furman, Carl, and Rivendell. Interesting name. And then the other group, you got Cordoda on his own, 240 meters behind Rivendell, and Sondergaard is 192 meters behind him, with Arnold and De Korps. And you got Friedman and Michael, and then Kulin is on his own in again no man's land, so might as well watch out for the ladies. You got Tsang, some Southern District leaders, and you got Amy Way with her as well, and they're working together. Now I haven't seen Christine here, and we're now at 106 that joined the group, joined the race even. So let me just refresh and try and work out. So 134 have signed up. Oh, that's amazing. So behind Amy, you've got Samatas on his own. Now they should be able to catch up with Amy. You got Howden as well behind from Southern District Wheelers. Derek's 150 meters behind, and then we're really getting to the end of the group here. So Mamola is again behind. It looks as though Arangona had a technical. He's just restarted again. Andrea, let's hope she can catch and join in with somebody else. And Chulfalang, let's hope he can push up and join with Andrea, and then she can join with Larangona. And we got a couple behind me, so bypass me. So you got Kershaw, Fries, and Almqvist, who's stopped, so they didn't start the race, probably due to a technical. But let's go back to the beginning now. So here we got 2 teammates. You got Solly and Rowbottom, and we do have 2 Sollys in the race. So Rassio, both from Rassio Racing. Peter Austin behind, with Peter Brook Wavell, Neugebauer's there. Paul Newton, So it doesn't look as though that's changed. There are a couple off the back. So it looks like it's an OTR rider. And I can't tell without moving back. Oh, so Gordon Jackson, unfortunately, has dropped back. That's a shame because he was doing really, really well in that front group. Hopefully he can get back to Nestor and Per Söderberg, and then they can work together. So go back to this front group. Wayham's just off the back, so he'll get through into the back of that group and needs to go back into the middle to get the draft. Jan Van's there towards the back. I expect really strong ride from him today. It was quite funny. We had a 3R race not this week, last week, and Jan was saying, well, let's start off at 450 watts and see how we go, and we're all going, no. But yeah, no, he's a really strong rider. So at the front, you got Vesper, Arhem, Roger Hughes, Rowbottom, Simmons, Solly, Evan Oyster. Nogabau's at the front now. So again, a really strong effort from pedallers. Arhem's going up. So we've got, as part of the commentary, we're looking at who's the most combative rider for the series. And there's quite a few names in there, but I'm not going to give it away. I'll leave that for Derek. But so it's useful to see how we can pick who that most combative rider is going to be. It's quite interesting. As I say, there's lots and lots of names. Okay, so you've got Tooth on OTR, sorry. And you got Roger Hughes and Tony Simmons. Now kids on the front. Leon from Pedalers is just pushing up. Well, he's 18 metres in the front, but the group will just catch. But what you won't see is the pedalers pushing up and helping to do that catch. So it looks like Nestor's had some dropouts, which is never nice to see when you're in a race. So Rocket Roy with Leon, Neugebauer, Solly, DeLong, Daniel's up there as well with Peter Austin, Hughes, Fuzel, Myrtle's there as well. Wentz is there. And who's just coming through now? Rowbottom. Steger I haven't seen quite a lot of. So that'd be quite interesting. So in the chat you can see it's filled with comments from OTR team. Just shows how good that team is working well together. And again, you've got a strong contingent of OTR in this race as well. So Steger's out in front with Warren, Rowbottom, Simmons, Evans there as well, Leon, DeLonghi, Peter Austin, Lee Parks, Vesper's there, Rocket Roy, Murtaugh, Mard's there as well. So really strong group. And any more off the back? There's a couple you can see right right in the background. We'll go to them shortly. Let's just go over this little bump to start with. But as we said earlier, no one's getting away from this. It's just too flat. There is a halfway mark on this course, so we'll go under the banner shortly. But if you look at how much they've climbed, so they've done 65 meters of climbing so far, so very flat compared to what you guys have been doing throughout the tour. And this is an incredible tour, by the way. I can't wait for next year. So road bottom still out in front with Steger, Vesper, Evans there as well. Tony Simmons, Neugebauer, Peter Austin, Daniel, Kidd, Hall, Warren's there. All the usual names and faces. And when we did this yesterday as a recce, we put some bots on as well, so we had 20 bots. And we were only doing, 3.2 watts per kilo, so just taking it quite relatively straightforward and easy. And I think we only had 3 or 4 bots that we were working with when we got to this point. But they do help. And it's really good to have that opportunity to do a recce, to understand what the course looks like. But when I looked at this on the RGT cycling page, the elevation looked massive. So, but there's just not a lot of it. So it ends up being completely flat. And Derek would say, I don't like the flat courses. It doesn't give any, there's no racing, everyone's together, no one's off the front. So let's see if we can get some racing going and look at those bumps towards the latter part of the ride and see if we can get some guys coming off the front. But I would say we're waiting for a sprint finish, and everyone mucking in with that, ready for tomorrow's climbs and final stage. So who's in the front? DeLonghi's in the front with Daniel. Peter's there as well, which is great to see that he's back in the group. Tony Simmons is there. Bellio, Steger hasn't dropped off yet. Vesper's there. Perks is there. Wentz is still there from Moon Riders. Jan Van's there as well, as you can see, and then no pins. And there we go, halfway mark. So let's go underneath the banner and see if anyone has dropped off, which they haven't. And you got DeLonghi in the front. So halfway, 77 meters of climbing. And the way this is going, it should be quicker than the first 2 groups, which again, as we were saying earlier, the quickest is 1:16, so 1 hour 16 minutes and 29 seconds. So let's see who else is in this group. Oh, you got an OTR rider off the front, so Roger Hughes. Again, great to see. But he's slowing down. So they'll just peg him back. And he had something like 6 meters, but that's gone. So Vespers in the front with Hughes, Penn, Steger's there as well, Kaczynski, Simmons, Fuzel, Warren's there. So all together. And if you go back again, no one's off the back. And Lyndon's just pushing it a little bit from poker motion. Steger and Daniels. There's Daniel from ASRT. Vespers there with Neugebauer. Tim Moss. Evans there. Kid and Peter. It's great to see Peter back in this group. As I say, we'll find out later on. We'll have a chat with Peter and see what the problems were and report back, hopefully, if we can get hold of him this evening on our 6:45 race. So John Beam's going up to now in 6th with Rowbottom, shadowed by Peter. So there's a little contingent off the front, but they're all going to go back together, which they are. So before we get to that last third of the race, where we got a few of the bumps, let's go back again to a few of the other riders in the different groups. And this will also give us an idea of how many are now back or left in this group, of this front group. So we're now at 49. So we have lost quite a few, but that's still a big group to stay together. So let's go back. So you got Rich, Kevin's dad, is it Graham? Wareham's there as well. So they're going to stay together. So Min Raiders, OTR, and Le Col rider as well, so they're wearing the Le Col custom kit. Nestor's there with Per Söderberg, and they've dropped Gordon, so I was hoping that both Nestor and Per and Gordon would stay together, but unfortunately Gordon's dropped. So let's hope Per and Nestor, who keeps having dropouts. If you look, it's what's Kilos keep going back down to 0. And keeps losing that wheel from Per as well. So let's hope they can get back to the Wareham Rich Wagstaff group, because they're only 69 meters in front of them, so they should be able to do this as long as Per doesn't keep having any dropouts, or Nestor even. So they are closing that gap. So let's stay with this, because we're not seeing a huge contingent from the the front group going off on their own. So I'll keep an eye on the blob, and we'll go back as we get more towards that last third where you got a bit more of the climbing. Okay, lag. Feels all saying that the last quarter looks bloody awful. It's bumpy, but it's quite interesting. So let's. I expect there to be some changing at the front, that front group. So Per and Nesta are bringing that group back. So what, they're 13 meters, 15 meters now. And we got 20 k's to go. And there's still 49 riders in that front group. Right, so they're all staying together. Right, super. So let's hope Rich, Nesta, Per, along with Wareham and Barclay can all stay together in this group. I don't think they'll be able to catch the front group, but it's useful for them to keep pushing on. You got Nick Walker and Gordon Jackson teammates from OTR Blue. You can tell that because they use the blue bike. The team kit's the same colour, but the bikes change. And what you tend to find is the helmets change as well. And then you got Fern on his own, but he's being caught. So let's look at that catching group. So again, a few more teammates are in there as well. Adrian Bennett's in that. Andy Marchie's in there as well. Next group, Oren's on his own in no man's land, so it looks as though he will drop back into the Donaldson so that they can pair up together. And there is Donaldson, again on his own, doing good wattage but on his own. Goulet's there, again another rider on his own, but he's what, 544 meters behind Donaldson, so I don't think, even with being a peddler, he's going to catch. And then you got the group with Keith, Peter's teammate, with Nesta, Per, and Rich. You got Solly in there, so there's another Solly. Newnham is in there as well as Dirty Dan. So they're working really well together. What I haven't seen is Christine. So maybe she's going in this 6:45 race. 7:45 for Derek. He lives over in the Netherlands. Right, who else have we got? Kalengo is again on his own some. Whether that was a technical that he had just now with the dropout, but his watts went down to 0. But he really is on his own. Middle of that group we just looked at, and the group with MH and Duplessis. So MH is again on his own, and then you got the Duplessis group with the Moon Riders, the Custom Lacole rider, Frey's in there as well, and Zimmerman. Pridgen is on his... Oh yeah, he's on his own. He's what, 650 behind and nearly 300 metres ahead of everyone else, that group. So that's going to be a lonely ride to the finish. Furman, again on his own. Court Oda, again on his own, but you'd expect that the guys behind will catch up. So let's have a look at that. And they can see him now. They can see Kotoda at the moment, and they are catching him. So while there's nothing going on with that front group, let's stay with this. So you got Sondergaard's in there with Arnold. Shane's there as well. Rivendell, Lavelle. So although Lavelle's dropped back a little bit, he's looking so he can catch back in. So 78 metres. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll catch? It looks as though 68, 70. So now down to 56 metres. So guys, if you keep pushing along, you can catch up. And at least you get somebody else that you can give you a hand. And then it's push up to the group with Thurman in and Zimmerman in. Yeah, they're going to catch. Look at that. 46 metres to go. Shane, awesome putting in the work there to try and catch up with Kotoda. And just splitting that group a little bit, so they're going to need to push up a little bit more and close that group up. But Shane's pulled out a 30-metre gap from that previous group, so maybe Shane and Kotoda can work together, but I do expect that this group will eventually close that gap. And it is coming down. It's nice to see Shane doing that. So down to 30 metres. And they are going to close that gap. It's now down to 22. Let's just stay with this until they do catch. And we'll go and have a look at some of the other groups. Lavelle just needs to push up with Sondergaard. And there you go. All back together. Awesome. Well, that was really good. Marin is on his own in no man's land. Same for Carl. But the Pedley is catching. So the one in the custom coal kit. Is he going to catch and go past, or is he just going to catch and stay with him? What do you think? What's he going to do? I think he's going to stay and work with Carl. Right, let's go to the front because there is a gap starting to form. So Robaum's out on his own. He's 68 meters behind, in front of everybody else. So that's where he is, and that's where everyone else is. So is he going to be able to stay out? He's picked the right time. That last third of the race is a bit bumpier. But he's not going away drastically, so that group have pegged into around between 60 and 70 metres. Neugebauer's out front doing what, 6.4, 6.1 watts per kilo. Peter's there with John Beams, Greenhall, somewhat's there as well. Klaas is there. Robert Roy's there with Stevens. Jan Van's there. So they're going to pull that back. And if you look, that's already coming down to what now? 40 metres, 36 metres. Yeah, awesome. This is the exciting bits. But Rowbottoms did a cracking job trying to just get off the front. But they are back with him now. So let's stay with this group and see what that last third is going to give them. They've got what, 11.5 k to go for the race. So you got Steger's gonna now. So DeLonghi's now taking it with Steger, Klaas, Stevens, Neugebauer's there, and Rowbottom will just keep going backwards into that group, and then he can recover in the draft. It's great to see there's quite a few from 3R there, with Jan Van on the right hand side with the no pins. We still have 3 or 4 from OTR there, quite a few from Russia Racing, a few from Southern District Wheelers, and of course the contingent of pedallers. So who's gone off again? Which Ratio rider has gone off again? Solly this time. Do they have a game plan? So Simon Kerpel just leading it up. So Steger, Linden, Vesper. So I expect them to pull this back again. But it's interesting that's the second Ratio rider that's gone off at the front with Rowbottom earlier. But they're not letting them get away. So this does look really nice to be a sprint finish. It's awesome, isn't it? Now, have we lost anybody because of that? Yeah, there's quite a few that have been dropped now. So let's go and have a look at them just for the time being. Right, so we've lost Bellio. He's not going to get back at 3.1 watts per kilo. Unfortunately, the Hedgeguard is another one. So the group of 4 there with Hall, Gray. Vence is there as well, so that's surprising. I didn't expect Vence to be there. I expected him to be in that front group. But they're not pushing enough to get onto that group. And then in front of Vence, you've got Tony Simmons. He's now 60 metres behind. So I think he's going to wait for that group with Wentz in, and that'll then be the second group coming through. But they're not really catching, are they? And Tony's 105 metres behind the front group. And again, that group, Steger's on the front with Neugebauer, Peter Solly's there as well. So it's quite a few of them taking turns at the front, which is always nice to see. So you don't want to see just one team doing it. But what you're seeing is not all of the pedallers are doing it. So maybe they've got something in hand for later. And row bottoms are in 6th. Just dropping down to 14th. You got another, so Steger's, no, who's in front? O'Malley. So O'Malley's in front. And again, you've got the contingent are not going to let him go. But it's good to see the riders trying to push off at the front, trying to do something different. And he's pulled out a 30-metre gap. But they've pegged that, and they are going to close that down. But what it does mean is the riders behind them are just going to drop, and you can see them right in the distance there. But Steger with Peter Austin, Evans there as well with Hughes, Kidd, Simon's there, so they're all working hard. John Beams is there to pull him back, so then they're not going to let him go away. So let's see the next one. So Razzie Racing just gone off again row bottom. But again, they're not going to let him go away. And O'Malley's dropping, which is a bit surprising. He needs to get back into that group. It's so easy at the front to just drop, and then you get spat out the back. What's up with Amy? So Amy's saying, sorry guys. So hopefully we can catch up with Amy. Oh, Amy's done for. That's awful. Excuse me. So it's nice to see that Sang is now saying they can wait for Amy. Two of the OTR riders at the front with Moon Raider. So Roger Hughes, Klaas, and Kevin Barclay. Steger, DeLong, Jan van, Vesper, Greenhaller, Beams, Neugebauer, Kerpel, or Simon Kerpel. It'd be really nice if Shane Blackmore waits for Anne. But we'll stay with this group because we are getting to that final part of the race now. It's 6 kilometres to go. And it's nice Shane giving some encouragement to Anne to keep going. Yeah. And what Per said is it's setting up for a sprint. And it does look like that. Over the bumpier bits already with 6Ks. And we haven't dropped anybody else. Yes, we have. So it has dwindled down a little bit. So how many do we have in there at the moment? Because we said there was originally about 70, and now that's what, 36? So you got dooby. Right. So you got Van R and you got Rocket Rob. Rocket Roy is they're together, so they've gone off that group. You got Stevens as well, and you got Western, some from Southern District Wheelers. So they've gone off that group, and they won't catch back up. So 37 left. Keith's money is on Mr. Wareham. I don't think Wareham's in the front group. So you got Neugebauer at the front with Fusel, Greenler, Klaas, Steger, Fusel, Fusel. Arham's there. Oh, Arham's always there, which is really good to see, and winning a stage as well. Daniel from SRT. So this is just going to be a sprint finish. I'd be really surprised if they let anybody go up front. Everyone that's tried has been pulled back. So 3.8 Ks to go. It's getting exciting. Mard just coming through there. Or Henrik Mard, our current GC leader. And you've got John Beams, who's currently second in GC. I think 5 minutes behind Henrik. It could be 3. I need to check again. So Penn's up there in front. Peter's going up front as well now. Paul Newton's there. Simon, Samut, Neugebauer. So it's going to keep changing. As the classes out front with Daniel, Steger, Solly's there as well. So Solly's now taking lead, but you're not seeing any of the Ratio Racing riders pushing out front. But you do expect that the last couple of Ks. Dirty Dan's now waiting for the Campbell. A little group off the front, but only by a couple of metres, and they're going to close that gap. As I say, no one's getting away today. Not until the last couple of K. And we're just going downhill. Well, couldn't call it a hill, and then up a little one. So it's a little bumpy. And no one's really pushing the watts here. Steger's doing what, 4.7, 4.8 watts per kilo. No one's really wanting to push that just yet. Who's going to go for a long sprint? Anybody? be surprised if Arhem doesn't try something. Or Neugebauer. So we're at 1.6 Ks to go. So we should see the 1K banner. So Daniel from the SRT's just pulling, 9.5. They're all going to close him down because they see that that's a bit of a risk. And you can see their kite. So they are going to close him down. But he has opened up a cheeky 35 meter gap. So 40 meter gap. So if we can watch him go underneath the kite. And then we can watch them. It's 49 meters. So he is pushing 6.4 watts per kilo. And he may do it. But they may pull him back as well. So Linden's pulling Steger, Beams, John Beams is there, Paul Newton's there, Klaas is there, Leon, Neugebauer, Henrik Mard, Simon Keppel. They are pulling him back. He's got 38. But he got 620 metres to go. They're down to the 31 metres, 28 metres. So you got Steger, Linden, Arhem. But you got Linden and Steger are pulling him back. Samut's now joining. Oh, this is exciting. 370 metres to go. Right, they're all coming back together. So let's go to the front. So Samut is going to try and go for it. Now he's got a 32 metre gap, 35 metre gap, 32. He's got 130 metres to go, and I think he's gonna get to the line first. So Samut will take it. Awesome, Samut. Then Greenhaller, Klaas, Arhem, Simmons, Linden, Leon, Jan van O'Malley, Daniel, Solly, Beams, Vander, Robottom, Kaczynski, Simon, Steger, Paul Newham, Peter Newham, Vesper, Kevin Barclay, Roger Hughes, Henrik Mard, Neugebauer, Peter DeLonghi, Penn, Austin, Peter Austin, Warren, Parks, Moss, Evans has come through, Kids has come through, Kovaslak's come through, Rocket Roy is with Van Aar. Oh, that was awesome. So that cheeky pull right at the last 1.2 Ks. Incredible. Well done. Well done, Samut. So you got Jan and Van der Beers and Rocket Roy. So I think Jan Beers is going to get it with Rocket Roy, then Van Aar. Weston with Stevens, Simmons coming through now. Murtaugh's just coming through. Then at 500 metres to go, you got Hall, Wentz, and Gray together. Closely followed by Hedgegaard. So let's see if Hedgegaard can catch up. You've got 350 metres to go. Doesn't look as though he's going to catch up that quickly. They're pulling out. So Wentz is pulling out 6.8, 7.0. So I think Wentz looks as though he wants to take this. Gray's following behind, but not closing that gap. And as I say, I'm really surprised Wentz has dropped from this group because he was in the first group quite a while. So there we go. Wentz now takes 45th place. Well done. And Gray behind, and Hall behind Gray now. And Hedgegaard did get dropped. So he's just coming in because there's no point pushing it at the moment. So he just comes through in 48th. So well done for him. Bellio has got 320 metres to go. And he's got no way of catching, so he will have that 49th place. Go on, Bellio, 4.3, 4.1, all going in the red, but Bellio then takes 49th. Awesome, well done. And then we come to the Nesta's pair and Rich group. Excuse me. So let's go to Rich, and you got Wareham with them. So when Keith's saying Wareham, so maybe Wareham for the sprint from this group of 4. Let's see. They've got 500 metres to go. Wareham up front with Nesta now taking it with Rich pair. So they're going to stay together, but who's going to take the sprint? You see Nesta trying to go. I think Wareham has the legs on the rest of these, but I'd like to see the teammates taking it. So Nesta going there with 3.4. Rich now going up with pair as well. But I would say Wareham's going to have the legs for this. Oh, no. Nesta's, or Rich has got it. Ah, excellent. So Rich, Nesta, all coming, yes, yes. So Rich gets it, then Nesta. I thought Soderbergh, also pair, took Wareham, but it looks as though Wareham. Yep, so Wareham then sewed pair. That's a shame. And then Kevin Barclay's dad. And he's, what, 550 metres to go. So he's going to be a solid 54th place. No one can take that away. So just coming up a little climb, but it's only a 2% climb with 360 metres to go. That was excellent, Rich. So Rich, Nesta, Wareham and pair. $250. Is it Graham? Now going to the red at 4.7, 4.6 watts per kilo. 130 metres to go. So well done, Graham Barclay, 54th place. You got Fern again on his own with Sanderson behind. And then you got that LeBlanc, Walker, Nieburg and RS all working together. But they're not going to catch Fern, not with, 350 metres to go. And they're 160 behind. Keith's just saying he's still getting, so I assume that means he's still out on track, which he is. He'll be behind this group. So I think Fern will get through. The group behind are pulling quite a lot, but they're not going to close that gap. So Fern takes the 55th place, and you got Nieburg, who looks as though he's going to take the, unless Walker gets it. Nope. So Nieburg, Walker, Sanderson, Archie, Donaldson and RS. LeBlanc's has come through. Gordon's 250 behind them, and then about 290 behind is Adrian Bennett, and then Yeah. Another 900 metres behind that is Keith. So you get to the line, then Keith can have a beer. So Gordon doing a cracking job, was in the front group for quite a while and finished in 63rd place. Adrian Bennett with 280 metres to go. He's not going to get caught by Keith, who has closed the gap significantly. But he's not going to get caught by Keith, even if Keith's doing between 5 and 8 watts per kilo. But if he can hold off the other guys in that group, then great. Well done, Adrian. Oh, who's going to get this? I can't even pronounce that. Cug and Keith. Solly is 228 metres behind, so he's not going to catch these two. But who's going to take this? So Keith's going at 8 now, with 330 metres to go. I think that's a bit too early, but let's see how this pans out. Cug is going to catch him. It's just, will he have enough left after? And it doesn't look as though he has, because Keith's now doing... Oh, it's going to be close. So Keith does take it. So Keith takes it, then Clug. Well done, guys. And then you've got Dirty Dan with Newnham, the other Solly, Ian, all coming through as well. So... Oh, I pressed the wrong keys, sorry. We missed it. My fault. So, Solly, Ian, Miglorielli, Dirty Dan, Dulac, Campbell have all come through. And apologies for the press the wrong key. So if you press the end key, it takes you to the front of the group, and they've all finished. So great ride, Keith. Saturday lunchtime beer, yeah. Well done. So MH at front, with Goulet and Duplass bringing up the rear of that group. Quite a bit. You got Zimmerman in that group as well, with Frey and Bailey. So 1.1 kilometres to go. They're just going to come onto the kite. And there they go, under the kite. So MH leading with Carbu and Calangelo. Yeah, 710 metres to go. Galangelo is trying to push, but Galbo is staying with him. But they are dropping Gourlay. Sorry, they are not dropping Gourlay, because he's actually catching up. I think he was the one that was about 160 metres behind at the 1.2k mark. So you got MH, Kalango, and Carbu, and these three working together. So who's going to get this? Who's going to do the sprint to the line with 300 metres to go? They're all pushing. They're all going up the hill. 250 to go. Who wants it the most? So Carbo, but MH is staying with him, and Colangelo is pushing up. MH is still pushing though. Who is going to get it? I would say MH is going to get it. Yeah, which he does then. Colango and Carbu. Awesome. And Goulet from the Peddlers. I think it was just a bit too much to pull and try and close that gap. But if he's not careful, he's going to get whipped to the line, which he doesn't know. So Goulet then Duplessis just comes through now. So well done, both of you. Zimmerman just goes under the kite now, so he's got the 1k to go. Defray is 81 meters with Bailey behind with 86. But they're not looking at their watts, they're not pushing enough. Zimmerman needs to just push a bit more to get to that 300 mark, and on the climb, and then you've got 79th place in the bag. Otherwise they will start to close that gap. There you go, he's listening to me. But Frey does look as though he's dropping Bailey, and he is trying to close that gap. But if you get Zimmerman keeps going, then he'll be fine in 79th place. Come on, Zimmerman. Okay, 4.3. That's good. Bit quicker up the hill. You got 290 meters to go. Frey is closing. Is 62 meters now, but he won't close enough. So keep pushing, Zimmerman. Come on, keep pushing. Doing 1.7 or 2.7 is not going to get it for you. Come on. Oh, you're really lucky there. Well done, Zimmerman. Frey just not closing the gap. So well done, 79th place. And Frey just coming through now. So Frey is 80th, with Bailey finishing now at 81st. 82nd, you got Ferram. And that's 300 meters to go. And Predgen's behind 270 meters, so Ferham is going to be okay on that 82nd place. And he comes through. Yep, so Ferham finishes, well done, 82nd place. Predgen, another OTR teammate. He's going to finish in 83rd. He's not going to get denied that at all. Cortado is just too far behind. But you have got quite a little bit of a battle behind with Cortado, Shane, Rivendell, Lavelle. So Predgen, awesome, well done. 83rd. So Arnold, if he doesn't get a move on, he's going to get caught with Rivendell, Shane, Lavelle. But he is pushing. So you expect him to keep that 84th place. But they are closing quite quickly. So well done, Arnold. Cortado, Rivendell, Shane, Lavelle. Excellent. Super guys and Sondergaard just coming through now. Right then, so we've got a bit of a wait. So Pedley is at 1.2 kilometres. And it's nice you got Sang and Amy Way together with Semitus. And Simon Howden. So they're all staying together. Let's see if they can bring Amy back. So just under the kite, Mr. Pedley in the custom Lacole kit. That's what I was looking for. So we started with 134 riders today. I'm in there, but I'm a bot, so I'm not riding, and I don't save my my rides. So we've got 133 actual competitive riders on this race today. Let's see how many finish, because there aren't that many left. So 400 meters to go. Pedley is not going to get caught with the what's he's doing at the moment, but Mahin has caught up. 250 to go for Pedley. Yeah, Mahin's just dropped a little bit more, so now 107 metres behind. So well done, Pedley. That's 90th place. And Mahin just coming through the line now, 91st. And then you've got that group with Amy in as well. So all four of them together. So they keep pushing. Two from Southern District Wheelers. Amy wearing the yellow and blue for Ukraine, but she's not. Yeah. And Samata's up front, so he's put out a bit of a gap. But I think. Oh, what's wrong with Howden? Is Howden just waiting? Yes. So Howden's going to work with Sang, and Sang is working with Amy to get me back with 750 metres to go. I wanted to give a big shout out to our tour sponsors, Aerofit. They have an incredible device. I use it myself every day, so have a look at it. Intervals is there, RIAC and OCG. But yeah, the Aerofit, I was a bit sceptical at first. Would it work? But it's also quite expensive at about a couple £100. But it really does. The training courses that they give you, and it's one of these that help you to increase the volume of air going through your lungs. So if you get a chance, try it. See if it works for you. I know within the first month I gained an extra litre of volume in my lungs. I've then lost it all now because of COVID, and with the chest infection as well. So yeah, not great. But you got. Let's try and go to Smetas, who's just finished. So well done, Howden is coming through. Hopefully, is bringing Sang and Amy Way with him. But Amy's just dropped a little bit more. Hopefully, she'll come back with Sang. But it's great to see them all working together. So Howden comes through now. Sang comes through, and then Amy. So well done, guys. You were amazing. Get Amy along. Carl coming through. Now Carl's dropped quite a bit because he was in the various groups that we've seen throughout this race. And he's got 320 metres to go. Yeah. Oh my God. Well done, Amy Way. Come on, Carl. You're going to need to speed up, mate. Because Momola's catching you. With 240 metres to go, Momola is catching you. But not enough. So I think you're going to keep your 96th position, so well done, Carl. Come on, keep going. Awesome, well done. And Momola, unfortunately, you were putting in some good watts there. And Momola crosses the line now. So 97th place, well done. Right, we got another bit of a wait with Michael, and you got Courline 430 meters behind, and then Andrea behind him at 850. And this is where Derek and I have been trying to do is say, let's try and record every rider finishing on the line. But as I say, if I, as a bot, are in front of riders, then effectively the race finishes when I cross the line, and I can't then record the other two riders on here. So apologies for Chilap Halang and Frias. I don't think I'm going to be able to record you guys, and I'm gutted really, because we do want to try and do that. We do want to try and record everyone finishing as Michael goes under the flag. So Michael's got 840 meters to go. He's at 2.9 watts per kilo. He's going up the climb. It's only a small one, but I don't think he's going to get caught by Courline. So he should be able to keep his 98th place with 690 meters to go. Courline is closing. Just, I don't think not enough. Andrea looks as though she's at a technical, so she's at 0 watts per kilo with 1.16, 1.8, 1.9, so she's going backwards. And it looks as though I am going to not be able to record Andrea coming over the line either. That's awful news for Andrea though. So I think it's interesting that lots of people have said, well, we keep having dropouts. What are Wahoo going to do about it? What are RGT going to do? And it's interesting how you get those. There's lots of different permutations, lots of problems. Is it down to the technology that RGT are using, or is it down to something else? Interference. Would be great to hear your thoughts. And if you want to put it on the chat, then fantastic. But it does seem that we have lots and lots of riders have had dropouts on this course today. As Michael now finishes in 98th place, so well done, Michael. And if we go to Courline, in the custom Lecole kit with 290 metres to go, Andrea's back up again, but she's still behind me, so when I finish, I'm not going to be able to record the rest of the race. So apologies, Andrea. I know you've done really well today, but it is a shame. So if you've got any tips on how to limit the number of dropouts that you get, do put in the chat, because it'll be useful for everybody else to try them. And Courline just coming through now. And excellent. So let's have a look at Andrea, at least for a few more minutes. So Andrea's going to come under the kite now, 3.1 watts per kilo, but as soon as I cross the line, I'm not going to be able to see anything else. So apologies for that. Chiplang and Frias. So let's go back to Andrea, because I'm only 290 meters back from the line, so we can watch Andrea until I finish the line, and then the screen will go all weird because it'll expect the camera to have followed me. And I know when I tried this before on the stage 8, I went underwater. I went under the road. So apologies if you get some weird view. So yeah, Andrew there at 2.3 watts per kilo at 590 meters, but again I'm about to cross over the line. And I will lose the coverage. Nice little climb at the end. So well done everyone for taking part today. It was a fantastic race. It was, as I say, it's a flat course. You're going to expect everyone staying together. But yeah, cracking. And we'll see you again tonight at, so there you go, I finished. Tonight at 18:45. So hope to see you then. In the meantime, ride safely and take care. And bye-bye for now.